Down. Orca has the trainer. We need help now.
It was supposed to be a flawless performance, a breathtaking display of trust between human and animal. But something went terribly wrong. What began as a routine show ended in unimaginable tragedy. This is the story of Maris Ellington, a respected orca trainer whose final moments left a permanent scar on the world of marine entertainment. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story, so we can keep bringing you powerful documentaries like this one. Let's dive in. Maris Ellington wasn't just another marine mammal trainer. From the time she was a child, she had been captivated by the ocean. While most kids collected seashells, Maris was memorizing the names of every species of whale and dolphin. She could mimic their calls by the age of 10, and by 16 she was volunteering at her local aquarium. Cleaning tanks, taking notes, asking questions no one else thought to ask. By 24, she had earned a biology degree with honors, specializing in marine behavior. But it wasn't the academic accolades that set her apart. It was her ability to connect with the animals, to read them, feel them. Colleagues often said she had an unspoken language with the orcas, the big black and white predators of the sea that others treated with caution. They seemed to lean in toward Maris, trust her, respond to her in ways that baffled even veteran trainers. She was recruited by Ocean World's flagship marine park within a year of graduation. It was a dream come true, or so it seemed. Maris rose quickly through the ranks, becoming one of the park's most trusted orca handlers. Visitors would remember her by name. Trainers in training looked to her for guidance. She wasn't just a performer in the pool. She was a protector, a voice, a quiet advocate behind the scenes for better treatment and more enrichment for the whales in her care. Maris believed in coexistence, that humans and these massive predators could share a bond built on respect, not dominance. She often said, "They don't work for us, we work together." But in the world of marine entertainment, not everything is as it appears on stage. Behind the smiles, behind the perfect jumps and synchronized waves, there are complex creatures, intelligent, emotional, sometimes unpredictable. And Maris knew that better than most. But on that day, even she couldn't have known what was coming. Ocean World Marine Park stood as a monument to human fascination with the sea. Built along the coast and stretching over 60 acres of carefully engineered enclosures, theaters, and artificial lagoons, it attracted millions of visitors each year. The park's crown jewel was the Orca Spectacular, a high-energy, emotionally charged show featuring some of the largest predators ever held in captivity. Behind the towering glass barriers and crashing waves, these killer whales performed with breathtaking precision. They leapt, spun, and splashed on cue, creating awe in the eyes of children and wonder in the hearts of adults. But behind the applause was a long and complicated history, one filled with beauty, but also with shadows. Ocean World's Orca program began over 3 decades ago, during an era when capturing wild orcas was still legal in some parts of the world. Early shows were simple displays of power and obedience. Over time, the choreography grew more elaborate. Trainers entered the water with the animals. They surfed on dorsal fins. They kissed the whales on the nose. What the public didn't see was the immense psychological and physical pressure placed on both humans and animals to maintain this illusion of harmony. Among the orcas at Ocean World, one stood out. A massive 11,000-pound bull named Cairo. Captured off the coast of Iceland as a calf, Cairo had spent over 20 years in captivity. At 23 feet long, he was a commanding presence. Muscular, broad-finned, with deep scarring on his flanks from dominance battles with other males. Trainers described him as intelligent, moody, and unpredictable. Cairo had been involved in several close calls over the years. Moments when he failed to respond to commands, showed signs of agitation, or displayed territorial behavior toward staff in the pool. None of these incidents resulted in injury, but they were recorded, noted, filed away in incident reports. Reports that rarely made it outside the park's internal logs. Experts in marine mammal behavior had long warned that orcas, especially males in captivity, could develop behavioral abnormalities. These animals are used to roaming up to 100 miles a day in the wild, traveling with tight-knit family pods, forming complex social bonds. In a concrete tank, isolated from natural stimuli and often kept in artificial pods, frustration builds. Dr. Elaine Satterfield, a renowned marine biologist and former consultant to Ocean World, once stated, "When you remove an animal like an orca from its natural environment, you're not just putting it in a tank, you're putting its mind in a box, and sometimes it breaks." Despite the warnings, Cairo remained a star. He drew crowds, he performed, and most importantly, he trusted Maris, or at least he had. But in the weeks leading up to that day, something had shifted. Cairo had started floating listlessly at the surface. He was less responsive to trainers. He began jaw-popping more frequently, a known sign of agitation or dominance in orcas. The signs were subtle, but they were there. And on the morning of the attack, the surface of the water was calm, deceptively calm. No one knew that beneath it, something was boiling. February 17th. It was a bright morning at Ocean World Marine Park. The air buzzed with anticipation as visitors poured into the amphitheater for the park's midday Orca Spectacular show. Backstage, Maris Ellington prepared like she always did, running through her pre-show checklist, checking in with the handlers, watching Cairo through the glass as he circled the performance tank slowly, deliberately. At 11:46 a.m., Maris entered the poolside platform, her wetsuit zipped, hair tied back, headset in place. The stadium filled with cheers as Cairo breached the water in a perfect arc, soaking the front row. It looked like any other performance, smooth, rehearsed, routine, but subtle things were off. Cairo hesitated on two cues. He delayed a slide onto the platform. His tail slaps were more aggressive, creating deeper reverberations across the pool's surface. Trainers noted it. Maris saw it. Still, she continued, guiding him with practiced movements, reward signals, and calm body language. The bond between them, forged over a decade, was what made her confident. Maybe too confident. At 11:58 a.m., the routine reached a familiar sequence. A close contact maneuver where Maris stood on a submerged platform, face-to-face with Cairo. She extended her arm, a signal for a side swim. According to a witness sitting in Section B, she was signaling the orca when suddenly, it just changed. The whale dipped under the surface, then came back up, but not in the right spot. It was wrong. Without warning, Cairo lunged. His jaws closed around Maris's arm, yanking her into the water with terrifying force. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Some thought it was part of the show. Others knew instantly it wasn't. Underwater, a violent struggle began. Trainers on the edge of the pool scrambled to deploy emergency signals. Underwater tone generators designed to interrupt and redirect the whale's focus. Cairo ignored them. He held Maris beneath the surface, thrashing, turning, diving. Seconds turned into a minute turned into two. Rescue protocols were initiated. Staff raced to close the pool's emergency gates to isolate Cairo. Others threw nets and floating barriers into the water, trying to corner him. Still, he evaded them, surfacing only briefly before diving again, with Maris still in his grasp. One trainer attempted to lure Cairo away with fish and vocal commands from the medical pool. He didn't respond.